Okay, so the next question that we got on the menu today is asking us, how do we write x to the power of 2 over 3? I'll write that a little bit larger because I imagine that could be a little bit difficult to see. 2 over 3 x to the power of 2/3 in radical form. Radical form. Okay, now what is radical form? Radical form is when you have radical form looks like this. So what we're going to expect is maybe some number here. We don't know what it is yet. Let's just call that n. This will be like a general radical form. And then we'll have maybe like x under here. Or maybe not. I won't use x because we're already using x for this. Maybe we'll say a. So we're going to have something under a root. And the n is to specify which root. So if we have a square root, we're typically not going to write 2 here because square roots are so common. We just draw like the root thing and we leave it at that. But let's say you're doing a cubic root, which is saying like who multiplies itself by itself thrice to become this, and you would have like a 3 there. Okay, but this is what we're looking for in the end. We're trying to get something like this, and a nice way to think about this is, another way we can write this is a to the power of 1 over n. So anytime you have a 1 divided by a number as the power, that can easily be turned into a radical. Okay, so let's see what we can do here. Well, we don't have a 1 on top of here, but we do know that here's an interesting rule about exponents. So here's an exponent rule. Our exponent rule is that, let's say we have y, and I'm just using y as like a generic variable, but you could use y, x, w, square, happy face. You could use whatever you want to use, whatever symbol you like, as long as it's clear and obvious to you what it represents. Okay, so use your creativity if you'd like. So let's say we have y is of m times n. Another way that we can write this is y to the m times n. Okay, now we want to apply that principle here because we know that 2 over 3, we could rewrite this as 2 times 1 over 3, right? And then we have exactly what we want here, like we have a fraction with 1 on the upstairs, 1 in the numerator, the 1/3, and then the multiply by 2, well, we can keep that under the root of the radical form. So, we can deal with that appropriately. Cool, so let's say we can rewrite x to the power of 2/3. Another way we can rewrite this as x squared multiply to the power of 1/3. Right? And you can see with this rule, it would be perfectly equal. They have to be perfectly equal. I know for a fact they are perfectly equal. If I'm lying, I'm flying. Okay, so, and then we want to use our other rule. Wait, what was our other rule again? When we have 1 divided by a number as the exponent, we can turn it into a radical that looks like this, with the number that's on the denominator as the, what is the n in the radical form equation that I drew out here. Cool, so let's actually do that conversion right now. So in this case, our denominator is a 3, right? So we're going to have the cubic root. And what's underneath the root? Well, whatever inside here, and we have x squared. Okay, and that will be our final answer. In radical form, x to the power of 2/3 is equal to the cubic root of x squared. There are many different reasons why you may want to go between these. Honestly, it's typically more useful, like the deeper you go into your academic life, it'll typically be more useful to have it in as a fraction instead of as a radical, but you got to be familiar and comfortable with going either direction. Radical to fraction, fraction to radical. Either way should not be too intimidating. It should be nice and comfortable. Sounds good? Cool. So yeah, here we have the above solution is good. Awesome.